Lab safety. These are key terms that you need to write down in your journal. Precaution, something that is done to prevent possible harm or trouble from happening. This is something that we do to prevent ourselves from getting hurt during a lab or in the classroom. Hazard, something that can be harmful to people or even animals when we're working with animals. This could be spilling water on the floor where someone could slip and fall. Safety goggles. Goggles worn over the eyes during labs to protect your eyes. These are goggles we wear on the face to protect dirt and chemicals from getting in our eyes. Why do we have safety rules? We have safety rules are designed to keep students, teachers, and others safe. Our number one goal in a lab or classroom is to keep everyone safe. The students, the teachers, visitors, the principal, and any animals that we may be interacting with. Safety rules are not just for the science lab. They are used in many different areas throughout our lives. When you go to the cafeteria, when you go to the gym for PE, when you go out to the playground for recess, there are safety rules that you need to follow. Also at your home, in different stores like Walmart or Target. If you go to a restaurant such as McDonald's, there are safety rules that you're going to need to follow. Your parents also have safety rules that they need to follow in their jobs, whether they work at chemical plants or on a farm or in construction. These are some lab expectations that we have when we work in the lab. Number one, enter the room quietly and sit in your assigned seat. Now this may change from lab to lab, but you will work with your group and sit with your group. So you will need to come in and sit and work with them. Number two, listen quietly to all directions. Some directions may be written on your lab sheet. Some directions will be verbal. You need to make sure and pay attention to all of them. Number three, stay in your seat unless directed to get up. There will be times where you'll be able to get up and move around, but for the most of the time, you will need to sit in your assigned seat. And this is to avoid horseplay. We don't want students up walking around and running and someone trip and fall and get hurt. Number four, follow all directions written and spoken. So, majority of your directions will be written on your lab sheet, and we will go through those before you start. The others will be spoken. So you need to listen and pay attention throughout the lab and before we even begin to make sure you understand all the directions. If you have questions, that's when you're going to ask about the directions. Never eat or drink in the lab. You don't know what kind of materials or substances were placed in those containers before you work in the lab, so we don't want any kind of harmful substances making you sick or ill. Clean up all messes immediately. Whenever you spill something or drop something, accidents will happen, but you need to let the teacher know and then clean it up. Some things you'll be able to clean up, some things the teacher will need to clean up. Number 7, wear safety goggles when you heat anything, work with liquids, or mix chemicals. This includes water. When you work with water, make sure you're wearing your safety goggles. If you're working with sand, anything that could possibly get into your eyes, you want to make sure to wear your safety goggles. Use care when working with equipment. We understand I understand accidents will happen, but we just need to be as careful as possible so we don't break any of the tools so the next class can come in and experience the same activity or lesson that you are. Number 9, clean your lab area before you leave. We don't want to leave a mess because then that just prevents the following class from being able to jump into their lab whenever it's time to get started. Also, this also creates hazards if we don't clean up our lab area.